Hi there. This video is going to be about my 6-week challenge that I've taken on at my local gym along with my sister, who's going to do it with me. We had our body scans yesterday so that we knew what we were working with to start off with, what sort of muscle to fat ratio had, and we also did a strength test because we're going to focus about building muscle for this test. So if you'd like to join along with me, I'm going to be vlogging my days, and I'll probably also share our food diary, our exercise diary, things like that. So you can get a bit of an idea of, okay, well, when we go back and look in hindsight, how much effort has it taken to lose weight? Why am I doing this? Well, naturally, I am a few kilos overweight for where I'm supposed to be, ideally. I'm 52, I'm 170 centimeters tall, and I'm perimenopausal. Everything that I've been hearing and learning about in the study that I've been doing around perimenopause tells me and tells us that it is harder for us to lose weight at this age as opposed to when we were in our 20s and 30s. So I'm not sure whether you're aware, but the average woman will put on 5 to 6 kilos in her perimenopausal transition stage, regardless of whether she is eating and exercising the same as she always has. Let that sink in. So you change nothing to what you've been doing in your 20s and 30s, maybe even your 40s. But you will gain 5 to 6 kilos on average of body fat. Seems cruel, I know. Unreasonable even. But there is a reason for it. Just quickly before I share my results. So when your estrogen production is starting to become less reliable, when your ovaries are no longer functioning at their peak capacity, think of your ovaries as being like a factory. Okay, you eat well, you bring all the good vitamins and minerals to your ovarian factory, and it makes the estradiol hormone, which is your superpower estrogen, which also helps to support your brain function, your muscle mass, your bone density, your sleep regulation, and your body temperature regulation. We also make estrogen in our adrenals and our body fat. Here's the thing. Our body fat makes an inferior form of estrogen called estrone. So when your ovaries are no longer punching out big amounts of the estradiol hormone, your body fat rallies around and says, hey girls, we've got to amp up some more production. She needs more of our estrone to help support her life. So your body fat multiplies basically to help you. The thing is that body fat, which some of you may already have noticed, is predominantly around your midsection and your upper body, around the trunk, your upper arms even. Okay, that's when we start noticing that back fat rolling around underneath our bra as well. Not loving it. And that belly pooch that you may never have had. In addition to that, that fat will also be made up of visceral fat, not just subcutaneous fat. So subcutaneous fat is that inch that you can pinch on your hips and on your belly, okay? But the visceral fat is the build-up around our internal organs. So it's actually behind the muscle wall of your stomach muscles, for example. And so remember when you used to be able to pull your tummy muscles in and everything would go nice and flat up against your spine and you had a really lovely flat belly, and now you just can't seem to do that anymore? Visceral fat, that's the problem. So I have been putting on weight for the last 2.5 years or so. I have, since my youth, been anywhere from 60 to 64 kilos in my 20s and 30s. In my 40s, I got up to about 68 kilos. That was still okay for me. I was relatively happy at that. pretty good muscle mass to fat ratio overall, but that would have put me at around a 26% body fat to muscle ratio. Now I'm 52. I'm now 74.4 kilos and I haven't grown any taller. So yesterday when I did this scan, it gives you some really useful information, and I'm going to share that information with you now as to its starting point. Now look, we could all argue that how reliable are these things? I'm going to have to take everything with a grain of salt. We're just going to have to say this is what I was on this machine on this particular day. In 6 weeks time, let's do it again. We'll be able to see what the differences are. It'll be the same machine, okay? And we'll also be able to have a look at what my strength gains were. So now if I share with you, so yesterday we did, because we want to focus on weights, where I did I think it was 37.5 kilos bench press 3 times. We worked up to that from a warm up naturally. I did a 62.5 kilo squat with a barbell on my back 3 times. And I did a pull up with the elastic bands. So I needed a black one and a purple one from memory to be able to do 3 chin-ups. Okay, there's no way I can pull up my own body weight. Not a chance, not without support. Okay, so here we are. It gives you a score out of 100. Ideally you want 100. Some really super fit people get more than 100. I'm not sure how that happens, but apparently they do. Mine is 77 overall. My current weight, as I said earlier, is 74.4 kilos. Of that, my minerals, so my bones, probably my teeth too, weigh 3.71 kilograms. The average is between 2.85 and 3.49, so I'm slightly above average. That's a good thing. That probably means, because I've been in and out of the gym in my 20s, 30s and 40s when I could, and in my 50s, doing weight-bearing exercise, that I've got a fairly strong bone structure. Yay. So it doesn't look like there's any osteoporosis yet, but I would need to go and do a bone density scan to be sure of that. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then it tells me that my soft lean mass is 48.2 kilograms. My fat-free mass is 51.3 kilograms, but my weight is 74.4, which means that I'm currently carrying 23.1 kilograms of just body fat. So they have suggested that my target weight would be 66.6 kilos. And that makes sense to me because, like I said, I've been 64 kilos for a long time. And then I was 68, so that puts me somewhere between the two. So that would be comfortable for me, a comfortable weight for me. And pretty much, let's face it, that's it's nearly an 8 kilogram drop. We're talking about 1.5 dress sizes here. So there'll be pants in my wardrobe that I might be able to wear again. That's exciting. So we want to lose 7.8 kilograms of body fat. Now, I don't expect to do that in this next 6 weeks. That would be a very big ask. I think what I'm trying to do is a sustainable weight loss, but also focusing on good dietary choices. You may have learned that as we age, we need to eat more protein just to maintain the muscle mass that we already have. So your body actually gets worse at synthesizing protein to maintain muscle mass as you age. So you and I, on average, if we're the average Australian eater, are probably having around 50 or 60 grams of protein a day. That's not enough. I think it's one chicken breast is about 30 to 35 grams of protein. I have been advised that my protein requirements, well, I actually used it on the MyFitnessPal app, that my protein requirements are around 160 grams of protein a day. Now, that's not what chicken or meat you weigh and you put on the set of scales, because the amount something weighs does not relate to how much protein is in it. So I'm actually going to take you through in a separate video what I'm going to be eating for the next 7 days so that I've got around 150 grams of protein a day. Honestly, I feel like I'm going to be eating all day. That's going to be really interesting. So I'm actually going to be drinking some of my protein as well, because that amount of chewing will drive me insane. So here we go. This is my snapshot at the beginning of our 6-week challenge. I'm also going to show you physically what my body looks like in a pair of swimmers, so you can see where I carry my fat, and we'll then be able to do a comparison at the end. And let's see how we go. All right, so if you'd like to follow along, I'd love your company, because I think this is going to be hard for me. I'm a chocoholic. I love chocolate. I love fatty things. Not gristle, but chocolate. I love cream. And I've been really quite lazy in my approach to my foods as I've aged, because I've always just been okay. I've been relatively healthy, not awesome, but not really bad either. I would have said that I had a very good moderate diet. But I've also noticed that from the time of my teens, where I used to be able to just have maybe 4 or 5 squares of chocolate, maybe watching a movie or something, as the years have progressed, I'm up to half to a full block of family chocolate all by myself. There's another video on that, because I've learnt about dopamine and addiction as well. I'd love to share what I've learnt about that. That's another video. All right, I'm going to do another video now about the supplements that I'm going to use and the food plan that I have in place for Mickey and I, my sister. So I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for joining.